Good evening, everyone. Severe Team 9 meteorologist Nate the John joining you for this edition of Nate at 8. Thanks, as always, so much for tuning in. Coming up, we're going to be talking about some showers lingering, although that real steady rain is coming to an end going into tomorrow. But we'll see some showers remain with us, so it is still on the wet side as we go into tomorrow morning. Temperatures, thankfully, are mild overnight. Not a real chilly rain from these showers going into tomorrow morning, but a cool down is upon us. Temperatures are really dropping off going throughout the day tomorrow, and that will yield a cold Thanksgiving, the coldest in a handful of years for us here into the Ohio Valley. From there, temperatures, they remain cold as we go into the weekend, and we're going to be mapping out some more precipitation for this weekend as well, and what ushers in that cool down, some of those gusty winds. So there's several things to break down here as we go into this weekend for this edition of Nate at 8. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And again, we're going to start off with our temperatures, which remain mild overnight in the 50s. We're not going to cool much from where we're currently at. Just a few degrees likely of cooling. It'll take us lower 50s. Some of those cooler spots maybe just in the 40s, but not much cooler, right, with respect to where we're at. So it's one of the situations where take how it feels now, and it's going to feel similar to tomorrow morning. There's showers that remain in place. So again, we're not drying up tonight, but that steady rain that we had for much of today will start to come to an end. Still, again, some occasional light showers. It's still wet tonight. It's still wet tomorrow morning. We have more showers we're going to be tracking lingering into tomorrow morning, just as Futurecast is showing. Again, check out the temperatures as we go through the night, how little they're going to be cooling into tomorrow morning. Now, that being said, notice what happens. There's 8 a.m., so still some showers around for the morning commute. Again, mild, temperatures 50, similar to what we saw throughout this afternoon into tomorrow morning. As we fast forward a little bit, though, by the time we get into midday, the showers begin to taper off, and we can get a drier period into tomorrow afternoon. But at the same point, notice our temperatures are already starting to fall in the 40s by midday. And from there, they continue to drop. And by the time 4 o'clock rolls around, we are nearing, if not possibly even into the 30s at this point. So we're getting awfully close to the 30s by 4 o'clock tomorrow. Notice that we start to see our skies cloud back up. We'll deal with cloudy skies likely into Wednesday night. And on top of that, I do think there's a potential for some additional showers developing into tomorrow night. Now, as you can see, as temperatures are falling in the 30s, our precipitation type would change from rain to snow. And we can have some snow showers around then going into Wednesday night, some flurries in place. And that potential just continues for some additional flurries, maybe a snow shower or two going into Thanksgiving, and our temperatures just continue to drop off as well, likely below freezing and just into the 20s for Thursday morning, for Thanksgiving morning. And then by the afternoon, well, highs mid-lower 30s. That is it, likely into Thursday afternoon. That's the extent of our warming. A lot of cloud cover, and yes, some flurries possible throughout the day. Now, snow is something to note for Thanksgiving and even into Friday for if you're heading out shopping. Still can be some snow showers and flurries around, but I don't think that is the really big story for us, at least. It's just primarily the temperatures. Again, the coldest Thanksgiving we've had in over a handful of years, and in combination with some gusty winds, the wind chills, just very cold for this time of the year. So I think that is going to be more of the story. Again, some flurries could be in the mix, but what you'll really notice for Thursday and Friday is just a lot of cloud cover, some gusty winds going into, well, tomorrow as well, but in general, the next few days, some gusty winds and just some very cold wind chills. That's what's going to be noticed for most of this period into the weekend. Now, could we get some flurries, a snow shower or two at times? Absolutely. But for us, snow is not going to be a big impact. So again, accumulations are very, very minor, if possible to get none. If we're seeing anything accumulate, very minor, likely not to be an impact for us here locally. However, as you can see in the Futurecast, if you're traveling north, especially Youngstown and north, so especially north of Youngstown, but even getting close to Youngstown, up near Cleveland, Northeast Ohio, Northwest PA, up towards Erie, Pennsylvania. If you're getting into more of that snow belt of lake effect snow in Lake Erie, that's where we can pile up quite a bit of snow. And for those areas that I just mentioned, far to our north, there's potential to see snow accumulations even up to a foot So certainly some significant lake effect snow will be ongoing for those areas. So if you are traveling into those areas, it's worth noting that you're likely going to be dealing with some travel impacts, delays, and you want to allow yourself a lot of time to be safe to get to your destination for those areas. But again, for us, I just don't foresee it being an impact. Again, we're looking at on the order of little or none when it comes to snow accumulations, but we certainly can still have some snow showers at times. Primarily flurries is what we're going to see mostly. Obviously not going to accumulate there when it comes to flurries, but if we were to sneak in a snow shower or two, it's likely on the order of little or no snow accumulation. And we look at what futurecast snowfall here, even as we extend into Friday. And again, little or none, right? This isn't going to be enough to cause any headaches for us when it comes to travel delays. So thankfully here locally should be good to go when it comes to the snow. And ultimately, this right here is going to be more of the highlight for our Thanksgiving this year, and even into Friday, but more exclusively looking at Thanksgiving, just how cold it's going to be. So we look over the past 20 years, and we look at some of the coldest highs and wind chills. This is over the past 20 years. The coldest high temperature on Thanksgiving Day over the past 20 years was 28 degrees. That was in 2013. How about the coldest wind chill? -2. -2 is how cold it felt in 2005. That was 20 years ago on Thanksgiving in 2005. 8, 2013, 14, 15, 16, then 2017, 18, and 2014. So we look at these dates in 2019, 2018, the last cold Thanksgivings that we've had. Nothing in the 2020s. So this is going to mark the first cold, what you consider a cold Thanksgiving for the 2020s. Again, likely the coldest for at least since 2018. Now, I do think highs are going to be more mid to lower 30s. So we're likely looking at the coldest Thanksgiving. We look at the coldest highs, and we have to go back to, you see the earliest date, 29 was a high in 2018. So that's likely the last time we were going to be this cold. 38 in 2019, I think we're colder than 38 for a high temperature on Thanksgiving. So the coldest Thanksgiving for us on tap since 2018. When it comes to the wind chills, likely the coldest there since 2018, the wind chill was 15 degrees and forecasted to be more upper teens at the coldest for our wind chill for Thursday morning, for Thanksgiving morning. So it's likely going to be the coldest since 2018, when we had a wind chill of 15 degrees. So on par with 2018 as well when it comes to those wind chills. So not going to make it into the top 5 for the coldest wind chills over the past likely not. It's close. I wanted to say it's possible. It's possible. I guess I shouldn't say we're likely not. It is possible. We're not far from it, right? 2014 would have been the 5th coldest. But yeah, you get the idea that, we're looking at, in terms of the past 20 years, one of the coldest, right? Reaching into the top 3. I think great potential for it, for the coldest Thanksgiving when it comes to high temperatures, when it comes to just how cold it feels with those gusty winds and those cold highs, those wind chills. Well, possibly the top 5. So definitely something to note if you're wondering how this Thanksgiving can stack up to previous years. We haven't seen anything like what we're likely going to deal with on Thursday since at least 2018 for our Thanksgiving. And like I mentioned, wind chills are going to be a big factor for us, even over the next 3 days. So going into the weekend, wind chills, it's certainly a factor. These winds are ramping up for us. And notice by Wednesday afternoon, this is in line with that cold front passage. So we'll notice those winds ramping up into midday tomorrow, continuing then, even as we go through Thanksgiving on Thursday. Wind gusts are going to be upwards of 35 to 40 miles per hour. Maybe just a little higher than 40 miles per hour, at least for tomorrow. That looks to be the windiest conditions is for Wednesday. And maybe for some spots, even a little greater than 40 mile per hour wind gusts. So certainly be prepared. Windy Wednesday. Still going to be rather breezy on Thursday, up to close to about 35 mile per hour wind gusts for Thanksgiving. Friday, up to about 30 miles per hour. So just be prepared. Just gusty winds in general for us over the next 3 days. And of course, right, the wind chills a factor. So here's how it's going to feel for us tomorrow. So initially starting off, it's feeling like it's in the 50s. If you're heading out tomorrow morning, you want to be dressed more so for how it's going to be when you're coming home, right? Heading out to work tomorrow morning. Keep in mind, this is how cold it's going to feel on the way home. So it'll feel 30s, mid lower 30s. So it's going to be much colder feeling by Wednesday afternoon with respect to the morning. And wind chills, they just continue to fall off. There's our teams that we discussed that's looking likely by Thursday morning for Thanksgiving. It'll start off feeling like it's in the teens, and at the warmest for Thanksgiving, feeling like it's in the 20s. Yeah, teens, 20s, same story going into Friday. If you're heading out doing any shopping on Friday, 20s, teens, that is how warm it's going to feel for Thursday as well as Friday. Just be prepared to bundle up. It is going to be cold for a series of days as we do extend into the weekend. And that also being said, after doing some shopping, maybe on Friday, head over to historic Fort Steuben for Steubenville lights up the night, kicking off the festivities at historic Fort Steuben. Temperatures there, again, closer to 30, but keep in mind wind chills. It's going to feel well into the 20s. So just definitely want to be bundling up. Precipitation wise, maybe some flurries, but likely not too much there, especially by the latter part of Friday. We're likely seeing a lot of that even come to an end by the time we get into Friday night. So for Steubenville lights up the night, it's just cold, right? A lot of those flurries likely coming to an end at that point, but just looking cold going into Friday night. As we look ahead from there for the weekend, temperatures do rebound a little bit, but not by much. We'll go further into the 30s, likely Saturday, by Sunday, just in the 40s. That is going to be with a low pressure system that's going to deliver quite a bit of precipitation likely coming our way. Now, there's still some uncertainty on the track of this, but the track is certainly close enough to us, or far enough north, south, however you want to say it, that we can deal with both precipitation types. So, obviously, if this is tracking a little further south, we could deal with a little more snow. If it's tracking a little further north, we're dealing with primarily rain. So there's some uncertainty with the track of this. Right now, it's likely a mix of both. So it can start off more with some snow and then transition to more rain. As you can see, temperatures look to climb into the 40s. This looks to be a significant snowmaker across a good portion of the Midwest into the upper Midwest. So this is going to be a pretty significant snowmaker likely for portions of the Midwest. And for us here, Eastern Ohio, the Northern Panhandle, again, looks to be more of a mixed bag, where it can favor more rain than snow right now with the current track. That low center of low pressure looks to move awfully close, if not just over us. So it can get into a situation where it's just starting to transport some warmer air, and the warmer air eventually wins out with that center of low pressure. We want that low pressure to be south of us. So if we had that center of low south of us, and we'd be on the cold side of that system, and we'd be looking at primarily snow with that. But as it stands now, it looks to be a mixed bag there, but aiming more towards the rain than the snow side. So, it's a system that is worth closely monitoring. Certainly will be going into the weekend. But as it stands now, maybe watch there initially Sunday morning. Maybe dealing with some, again, a brief period there of some snow before rain takes hold, and maybe back to some snow showers lingering into Monday morning. But as you can see, by daybreak Monday, then we're looking to dry back up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, likely a lot of cloud cover, but not too much precipitation around early next week. Notice, though, there's temperatures. It's just cold. There's no real warm up. I mean, what we have for tomorrow looks to be our warmest day over the next 10 days. Tomorrow morning, with those highs back in the 50s. And it looks to will come to fruition that we can get into that first week of December with some below normal temperatures. And I talked a bit about that for the upcoming winter forecast special, and there was some pretty interesting statistics on that first week of December and how the rest of winter shaped up, and comparing it to temperatures. So I don't want to give it away and spoil it, but it's certainly something interesting, and that is coming up tomorrow. So if you have any questions on the winter forecast, tune back in after it airs tomorrow. We'll have our shortened version air during News 9 Live at 5 tomorrow. We'll have our half-hour winter forecast special coming up on Thanksgiving. We'll further dive into more statistics, and that's where I'll actually go into the special is where I actually go into that statistic I mentioned. So I won't give it away until Thursday, but For tomorrow is when we'll dive into. It's more of abbreviated, just how we're thinking temperatures, snowfall, recap of last year, just getting over some of the basics tomorrow during New Sign Live at 5, and then our extended version there for Thanksgiving. All right, let's get to comments. Thank you again so much for tuning in. Appreciate it as always. Good evening, Austin. This past weekend weather has been crazy. Saturday into Sunday night, I saw how crazy foggy it got around 1 a.m. Couldn't even see any street signs. It looked like a creepy movie set. We've had some of that creepy fog as of recent, haven't we, Austin? That's for sure. We've been dealing with some dense fog here as of recent. Monday morning so foggy that it looked like a thick soup. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it too. Absolutely. I hope it snows and snows, Larry says. And well, we've got some flurries at least coming our way, Larry, but if we're hoping for some accumulations, it's not too much here. I think we'd have better odds if we get a system if we get that low pressure system to track further south than what it is right now. That's going to be our best chance for some accumulations, but it doesn't look to. The track right now definitely doesn't look to favor that, but maybe we can sneak in at least a little bit of at least a coating maybe between a couple snow showers going into Thanksgiving and a little bit of snow that we could see, even though anything that accumulates is going to quickly melt with the rain. But yeah, maybe a little bit. Nothing too promising when it comes to a lot of snow accumulation right now, though, Larry, as we look ahead into next week. Just a lot of cold, a lot more cold than a lot of snow. That's for sure. A lot of cold, but not too much snow, especially accumulating snow in the forecast. Shelly says it's too bad for the bad weather during a holiday week. I hope everyone stays safe. Absolutely, Shelly. Hopefully everyone does. Again, thankfully, we're not dealing with a really impactful snow event coming our way. But again, just a word of caution. If you are making the trip north, Youngstown and north, Cleveland, northeast Ohio, northwest Ohio, northwest PA, going towards Erie, PA. If you're traveling up towards those areas, watch, because you're probably going to run into a lot of snow into those areas. Not a lot for us, but a lot of snow for our neighbors to our north, again, towards Youngstown, north of Youngstown. Start to watch. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much, Patty. Thank you for tuning in. Now, looking forward to the wind chill to be very chilly after Thanksgiving. And yeah, certainly it's, again, the wind, it's going to be very cold, especially for this time of the year. Like we broke it down for Thanksgiving. This is the coldest wind chills, coldest temperatures for Thanksgiving since 2018 for our area. So certainly nothing that we typically deal with going into Thanksgiving. It is below normal. And we got this very cold end and likely cold beginning to December coming our way. Joe, good evening. Thank you as always for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving again, Patty. Any wind advisory? We'll see those wind gusts upwards about 40 miles per hour, like a little under the criteria, but nonetheless, still going to be windy for us. Happy Thanksgiving to you all, and agree, Jerry. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving and coming up here, and hopefully you have some fun plans with family. And again, thankfully for us, we don't have to worry about really, again, the biggest impact is just walking from the vehicle, from the car to inside. It's getting inside out of that bitter wind chill. That's going to be our biggest impact for us here locally into the Ohio Valley. That's for sure, which is good, right? We don't have to deal with a headache of a lot of snow around the holidays, thankfully, coming our way. Again, it's just north of us, across the Midwest as well. So if you're traveling out northern Illinois into Indiana, back, upper Midwest, those locations, likely the same low pressure system that's impacting us on Sunday is going to be delivering a lot of snow for those areas into Saturday. So if you are traveling and staying into those areas for the weekend, definitely watch out. It's going to be likely a quite impactful event for those areas with this winter storm going into the weekend. And their timing in the Midwest will be, again, more in line with Saturday into Sunday. Our timing is going to be Sunday into Sunday night. But the track of that, again, favors more rain than snow for us right now. But it's something we'll certainly keep an eye on. And certainly keep you posted if we're going to be dealing with any change to the forecast. That's for sure. We're going to be keeping a close eye on it, keep you updated here over the next couple of days. Happy Thanksgiving. A lot of happy Thanksgivings. I love it. Can't wait for Snowbird to fly, Jerry says. And Joe, you're so very welcome. Thank you. There's our happy Thanksgiving. Super excited to ask my winter question for tomorrow. Right on, Austin. Be happy to answer for you. And yeah, I can even go a little more into some of the statistics I dug up Thursday because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, I can dive into more on Thursday as well. I'll be in for Thanksgiving, so we can discuss just how cold it is for that Thanksgiving edition of Nate at 8. Just discuss how cold it is. That's for sure. And Jerry says, can't wait for Snowbird to fly. And likely not too many snowbirds here coming up. Again, we'll see. I don't think right now as it stands, we're going to get any Monday from that rain and snow Sunday. But if we get that loaded track, take more of a drastic dive south, which a drastic dive south, it likely not going to happen. But if it does, then yeah, we certainly be on the snow side of that system. If it takes a further dive south, and then we'd definitely be in order for some snow. Joe, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Appreciate it. Tuning in as always. I hope, again, you have some wonderful plans coming up. I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. And I'll be right back here over the next couple of evenings to further break down that system coming our way for this weekend. Give you the latest updates on precipitation type, timing. And, of course, we'll iron out the finer details here over the next few days as well. Still a little too early for any fine details with that, but certainly keeping an eye on it and keep you posted of any changes to that forecast into Sunday. And that would be, again, that would be the only thing I foresee that could potentially be more impactful. Again, some flurries, couple snow showers, little or no snow accumulation going into Friday. A lot of those flurries taper off. We can have some lingering, especially Friday morning, but throughout the day Friday, what does linger will likely taper off. But again, it's primarily flurries, a couple snow showers, likely little or no snow accumulation. The bigger impact for us into the weekend is just how cold it is. Wind chills, teens to 20s, Thursday and Friday. That's our biggest impact. Just how cold it is, gusty winds, and just some very cold wind chills. That's what we're primarily noticing. That's going to be our biggest impact going into the weekend. And we'll see Sunday, depending on the precise track of that system, there could be at least a brief window of time where there could be a little more impact when it comes to, precipitation type or, a little bit of snow, road conditions. And yeah, we'll further break it down if we're having anything. As it stands now, again, I don't foresee too much, but we'll keep an eye on it. Give that final call here later this week when we iron out finer details. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can catch me coming up News 9 at 10 on Fox 9. News 9 tonight at 11 for the latest. And as always, the next edition of Nate at 8 coming up tomorrow evening. And again, for Thanksgiving evening. So if you want to tune in, happy to have you as always. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. I'll see all of you on the next edition of Nate at 8.